It's time for Lakers Postgame with Sliwa.
It's the Pizza Hut Lakers Postgame Show.
Tipping off now.
Here's Allen Sliwa.
Kind of excited right now, Laker fans. Kind of excited right now. 112-102 the final score. What a second half for the Los Angeles Lakers. How good was that to watch? You got a chance to watch a Lakers team where it was not all about offense. It was a team locking down on defense. They give up 38 points in the second half. 112-102 the final score. You guys know this. And tonight, I'm going to need some participation here. Laker fans, 877-710-ESPN. Let's talk about this Los Angeles Lakers team in Game 3. Let's talk about how important Game 4 is going to be, like it was against the Portland Trailblazers, where you really, really take control of the series. You don't want to make this a long set. You really don't. You want to start taking care of business. Lakers have won the last 2 games. Game 4 coming up on Thursday. You handle business there. You take the life out of the Houston Rockets. And I think if the Lakers can find a way to do that on Thursday, then you could start focusing in on the next round, which everybody believes is going to be the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Los Angeles Clippers. But let's focus in here on Game 3. Some games you're more excited than others. I don't know what it was about this one specifically, but the way the Lakers played in that second half, the fact that you saw Rajon Rondo contributing the way that he was, the fact that you saw all these great defensive stops, the fact that LeBron James just continues to be incredible game in and game out. It's a combination of all that I think really gets you excited about this Lakers team. And then also what you imagine is to come for the Lakers, what the future holds for this Los Angeles Lakers team. LBJ's 36, 5, and 7 were great. Isn't that ridiculous? We just do this every single game. How about his 4 block shots? How about LeBron setting the tone on the defensive side? How about the Lakers finding a way in that second half to, as best as they can, kind of slow down Russell Westbrook a little bit, slow down James Harden just a little bit. James Harden took 12 shots in Game 2. He had 15 shots just in the first half against the Lakers, but I felt like Lakers, especially in that second half, giving up 18 points and 20 points, third quarter and fourth quarter, started to take control of things. And I've said this, and I put out a tweet on this earlier today. Where's the defense? Blah, blah, blah. I was complaining. We all know that, okay, at the end of the day, defense wins championships for the Los Angeles Lakers. No different in this case. No different this season. Miami Heat's doing that right now against the Milwaukee Bucks. They moved on to the next round. Boston and Toronto, both of those teams understand that defense is going to be the difference. Clippers, I don't have to tell you about. They're going to have to get stops if they're going to win or advance to the next round against the Los Angeles Lakers. And Lakers tonight took a Houston Rockets team that finds ways to score, and specifically from the three-point line, they held them to 30 three-point attempts. They were 12 of 30 from the perimeter. Houston wants to take plus 50 in threes. That's how many threes they want to take a game. And when you say 12 of 30, you can make the argument, okay, Allen, well, they just took more twos. Well, that's the Lakers getting them off the three-point line, forcing them to drive the basket, forcing them to dribble a couple times, be within a 10 feet, 15 feet from the basket, and then have to deal with some of the Lakers' perimeter players or some of their big men. And certainly the Lakers, for the most part in that second half, took care of business. I think at halftime, it was 60-something points that the Houston Rockets had. So to lock down and only give up 38 points in that second half, that is by far the difference of the game for the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, I want to give a quick shout-out to the Wallace Firm, official personal injury law firm of the Postgame Show all season long here on 710 ESPN. They are serious trial lawyers who get serious results. Let them help you get the W. No win, no fee. That's 844-844-WINS, or visit wallacewins.com. All right, we'll line up the phone lines, 877-710-ESPN. Before we go any further, let's hear from Lakers head coach Frank Vogel on the 112-102 win over the Houston Rockets.
Hey, Frank, you've been very consistent all season talking about Rondo, but did you believe he'd be able to get to this level of play after not playing since March, especially in back-to-back games against a unique Houston team? Did you see this type of Rondo coming?
Well, all season I expected this come this time of year. Of course, obviously when you miss as much time as he missed, You don't know how quickly he's going to be able to get his legs under him, but I do know that he worked extremely hard before he came back into the bubble, and then when he got back into the bubble, so hard actually he hurt his back a little bit, but recovered quickly from that. And he's been really, really persistent with his work. So when he gets his legs under him, what kind of gamer he is this time of year, and he's been spectacular the last 2 games.
Frank, LeBron had 4 blocks in that third quarter alone. What did you see overall from him, and to what degree did that change the game tonight?
It's unbelievable. The lift he gives us with the superhero plays, you can't really put it in words, but he was doing it on both ends. I think he had 29 in the first half. We didn't play any defense in the first half. So, this easily could have been a blowout if he wasn't hitting big shot after big shot. So, he was spectacular with that. But, when he's protecting the rim on that end of the floor and then scoring 30 and a half, that's just remarkable.
So what do you think was Rajon's process in terms of coming back and being able to explode the way he did? And when he's playing this way, how much does that open things up for the rest of the team?
Well, obviously, it really, number one, it frees up AD and LeBron from having to do too much. But he just has an ability to orchestrate a game like very few players that I've ever been around. And, everybody else feeds off of his energy, but not just with the basketball. What he's doing defensively, at certain times, picking up Harden, being a real communicator on the defensive end, and getting us involved, and just a great two-way performance by him.
Brad?
Thank you. Hey, Frank, the Rockets shot, was that 56% in the first half, but they shot something like 30% in the second half. What changed with your defense? Was it just effort, applying pressure, sticking to the game plan?
Well, I just think we returned to form. I mean, we're a scrappy defensive unit, and for whatever reason, we weren't sharp in the first half. We were a little bit hesitant with our double teams and how we were going to rotate. And give the Rockets credit. They moved some things around, to counter and adjust to our defense that we're playing. And we took us a little bit of time to adjust to that. But we just returned to form in the second half. We knew we weren't happy with how we defended in the first half, and came out and gave a gutsy, scrappy performance in the second half. To hold that team to 38 points in the second half with all the firepower that they have is really a strong performance. So I'm proud of what we did.
Hey, Frank, it's Dave. I came in late, so I apologize if you've already addressed this. Just disregard the question. But could you just speak to LeBron becoming the all-time leading playoff win accumulator, and also the way his blocks have made an impact in this series? He has 8 so far.
Yeah. So what was the stat? He's the all-time scorer in the playoffs.
All-time leader in playoff wins.
Playoff wins. Well, I said it when we talked about the MVP this year, and nobody impacts winning more than LeBron James. And that's true for this season. It's why he should be MVP, and honestly, it's probably true in the history of the game. And no one's impacts winning more than LeBron James. So just to see he has the actual numerical statistic, just indicative of that.
Allie?
Tanisha, I'm here. It's Tim. I'm at Mark Medina. Go ahead, Mark.
All right. Thank you, Tim.
With LeBron, what's jumped out to you from your vantage point of his day-to-day for him to be able to take on this kind of workload at 35 years old and do all the things he does?
And nobody spends more time focused on his body than LeBron James. That's something you don't see when you're competing against him. You hear it being reported about, but being around him every day, everything from his sleep to his morning lifts, to getting his work in before the game, his treatment, his massage. I mean, he's just incredibly diligent year-round, round the clock. I'm coming in and taking the job, and it's the middle of summer, and I just took over as Lakers coach, and the guys in there 5, 6 in the morning getting his work in. It's just remarkable what kind of work ethic he has, and you're seeing the results of it with the way he's playing.
All right, then the last one will go Anthony Slater.
Yeah, Coach, you move Morris into the lineup to start the second half. Obviously, Dwight tonight. What do you think you found going small against their small, and do you expect to kind of stay with that moving forward?
Well, we'll see. Every game's different. I think Dwight could give us a different dynamic. If we decide to do that, because they're putting Harden on our center to start the game on JaVale McGee. So that's something we could look at. But our centers can still be effective in this series. The way we're doubling right now, it makes more sense to have mobility. With the way we're guarding, but it's not something I've ruled out in terms of the rest of this series.
All right, that's Lakers head coach Frank Vogel. I love a couple things that Frank said right there. Scrappy defensive unit. That's the way this team used to be, and we got to get that back. By the way, if you're going to win an NBA championship, that's the type of defense that you're going to have to play. Period. I mean, there's no exceptions to it. This is the case in every sport. You get stops. You know how to play defense, especially when your offense isn't fully clicking. And especially the talent that the Lakers have on offense with AD and LeBron. Should I throw Rondo in there? I think I'm throwing playoff Rondo in the offensive mix here. But that's obviously such a key part of this, so I love that he mentioned that. When we come back, we're going to take your guys' phone calls. We're going to spend some time hearing from Laker fans. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers post-game show. If you want to be on the show, 877-710-ESPN on 710 ESPN.
And how about that first half from the King? LeBron now with the most playoff.
Hey, it's Keyshawn. You ready? LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready?
On LA's mega sports station. Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m. How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson? Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night. The all-new 710. Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
All-time starting 5. Who you putting in that top 5?
All-time starting 5 for the Lakers. I'm going Magic at the 1. Jerry West at the 2, Kobe at the 3, myself at the 4, and Shaq at the 5. I mean, Shaq is so dominant, man. I love Kareem too, man. I can't even front on that, man. But Shaq's so dominant. It's we need a big because I'm playing the 4, so we need a big.
AD already put himself in the top 5.
Oh, AD put himself in the top 5. Well, he could take me out. Put AD in the top 5. Take me out, dude.
All-time Lakers 5. You're putting together a Lakers starting lineup. Who's in that top 5?
Ooh.
You go position by position.
Yeah. You got to go Magic at point. Kobe at 2. I'm going to go James Worthy at 3. We're going to put him at the 3. He can play 3. At the 4, that's tough. 4, we're just going to go size. Young Shaq at the 4 and Wilt at the 5.
No one's going to argue that.
Yeah. That's a tough lineup.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready?
On LA's mega sports station. Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m. How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Box. 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas, so they can choose what they want, and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at pizzahut.com.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers Postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Allen Sliwa.
Points in the Paint all season long is sponsored by Vista Paint, locally owned, manufactured, and operated. And with over 1,300 Vista Paint colors, Your perfect paint expression is at Vista Paint right now. And don't forget, visit vistapaint.com for your discount color sampler. Lakers win points in the paint 56-46. Lakers win the game 112-102. And now we're up 2-1 in the series. Good win for the Lakers. All right, you know what? If I already gave out the phone number and you guys didn't call in time, what do you want me to tell you? We got no room right now. 877-710-ESPN. Let's spend some time talking to Laker fans out there. Austin and Mar Vista, appreciate you calling in. What'd you think of the W?
Hey, appreciate the time.
Of course, man.
I thought it was a great performance and really good to see playoff Rondo come to life. And I think he's going to be the key. You know, we speak about Kuzma being that third key, and, you know, he does need to score. But Rondo coming in there and just being creative, creating the offense, keeping on their heels, giving Rondo rest because he's going to need it when we face Kawhi and Paul.
Well, Austin, just to stay on Rondo for a quick second, I mean, just think about the dynamic that you play in a 7-game set or something like that against the Clippers, or by the way, you're just in the second round against the Houston Rockets. Here's a guy you can give the ball to and let him make decisions. Here's a guy that's been in the NBA Finals. He's won an NBA championship. He's got a ton of veteran experience. So I don't disagree. As much talent, let's say, Kuzma has, Rondo's been there. He's done it. You know exactly what you're going to get. He was huge tonight.
Exactly. You know, the nickname's there for a reason, playoff Rondo. You know, there's the same rumors when he was with New Orleans, and people kind of question if he had it and, you know, taking those breaks in the season. But, I mean, when push comes to shove, you want someone that's been there, won it. And he has the attitude of a Chris Paul. You know, he's a real dog out there, and someone that's, you know, I won at the end of the game.
Appreciate you calling in, Austin. Thank you. All right, let's grab a couple more calls here. By the way, I'm not going to go back to the tape of what everyone was saying after Game 1 on Rajon Rondo. By the way, this is the world that we live in. You perform, everybody praises you. If you don't come through in the game, people obviously are critical. CJ in San Fernando Valley, appreciate you calling in, bud. You're on the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show. Go ahead, man.
Hey, what's going on, man? Just shout out to the Lake Show, man. I'm the biggest Lakers fan you ever gonna talk to, but let me get into it, man. I just want to praise Danny Green, also Kyle Kuzma and KCP on their defensive aggression on the perimeter in slowing down Russell, slowing down Harden, and not making them and making hard shots for those guys. I do appreciate that. Oh, and I went to high school with Russell Westbrook at Lusinger, by the way, so I'm a Russell fan for sure. But he's got to go down.
All right, appreciate you calling in. And Westbrook was much more aggressive tonight than he was in game. Much more effective, let's say that. Russell Westbrook had 30 points tonight, 13-24 from the field. Also had 6 assists, 8 rebounds. I mean, 2 steals, a block shot. Russell Westbrook was definitely impactful in tonight's game. Javier in Pasadena, appreciate you calling in, bud. You're on the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, man, I love your show, man. Yeah,
Thank you,
man. I love your show. And thank you for giving me the time to just express my concern on the Lakers being just so dominant. And I just want all the Laker fans out there to recognize the logistics it takes for the mentality to just approach the game at a different level on the fourth quarter and adjust to the Portland Trail Blazers. And I just want to just give a shout out to all the true Laker fans that just see that and see that what's really going on in the perimeter when we get aggressively and mentality and all the its and abouts in the playground schoolyard that Rondo and Kuzma displayed today.
Javier, appreciate it, man. Thank you. You said Portland, but I know what you're referring to. You're talking about the Houston Rockets. It is, winning basketball, championship basketball. Why do we get so excited after one game? But this is what happens. We all know that this is what happens. But and I'm on the same boat right now. Winning basketball, championship basketball, it's going to come in the fourth quarter. It's going to come in the second half. It's going to come on the defensive side. That's 2 straight games the Lakers outscored the Rockets by 10 points in the fourth quarter. So just keep that in mind. When push comes to shove, you need those stops. You need players to step up. Certainly the Lakers did it tonight. Okay, let me squeeze in one more phone call here, and then we'll go to Kyle Kuzma. Jeff in Temple City. Jeff, thank you for calling in, bud.
Hey, thank you. I was going to talk about Rondo, but I don't think I have to tonight. He was a Celtic, but now he's a Laker. But, yeah, I always wonder how come nobody gives Dwight Howard any praise. I mean, all he does is come in and play really good defense. He came back after, he wanted to get his money, but he came back, and all he's been is solid this year.
Jeff, I appreciate you calling in, and I'm going to answer that and then we'll go to Kyle Kuzma. Jeff, Dwight's got plenty of love this year, and he's not getting any playing time in this series because it doesn't make sense for him to get playing time in this series. He got a lot of love and opportunities against the Blazers because Hassan Whiteside was there, because Yusuf Nurkic was there, and in the next round, if it's the Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers, trust me, he's going to get his opportunities. The one thing you don't want to see from your head coach, you don't want to see your coach be stubborn and say, you know what, no, we're going to make the Rockets adjust to us. No. You know what, we're going to play our bigs and have them have to figure it out. The Rockets are not going to change who they are. The Lakers have Anthony Davis, who they could slide in the 5. They got Markieff Morris and Kyle Kuzma that can go bigger, play big as well. LeBron can play any position that you need. It's smart for the Lakers and head coach Frank Vogel to do what they've done so far. And I thought it was smart. Markieff Morris playing in that, starting the second half, I thought was key as well. Lakers went small right from the get-go. All right, Kyle Kuzma on the Lakers' 10-point win over the Rockets.
Hey, Kuz. Thanks for taking the time. Bron mentioned right there in his walk-off, when you guys went into the locker room at halftime, a lot of the focus was heavily on the defensive end of the floor and the adjustments you guys needed to make there in the second half. How would you describe what those adjustments were and how they were able to make the difference ultimately?
Just plain and simple, I think in that first half, we just didn't guard. I think they had like 62 or 63 points a half. And if you look at game 2, they didn't do that. So, we made some adjustments from game 2 to game 3, as you kind of saw in the first half, and then made some more adjustments in the second half to really allow them to, just slow their pace down, slow what they're trying to get done. We got the job done.
When it comes to the offensive end for you, we've seen a lot of your great games alongside that of Rajon. What is it like to have him back on the floor? And what would you say the two of you are able to do, really leading that second unit?
He's just doing a hell of a job for us. He's just a poised Hall of Fame veteran. He's been in these moments. He's won rings, played in big playoff games, so he knows what he's doing. And, we kind of, we see that. We just follow, our veterans lead.
One thing you've done really well on the offensive end, final one for me, is the way in which you're moving without the basketball and the cuts and the opportunities that you're getting to score in those moments. Stan Van Gundy was raving about you on the broadcast tonight from that regard. What is it you're seeing, especially right now in Houston's defense, that is allowing you to take advantage?
That's just my game. Ever since I came in the league, I've been, really good at moving without the ball. And, I'm kind of, I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I just try to, play as hard as I can, move around, get guys open. By me moving, it allows other guys to get open threes, open shots, and just trying to do that at the right time.
Hey, Kuz, it's Dave. Nice win tonight. When LeBron's flying around on the backside as a help side defender and getting those blocks, outside of obviously stopping a made field goal, what does that do for your guys' team? He has 8 blocks through 3 games this series so far.
That's when he's at his best. Playing that low man, being able to anchor the defense, talk, kind of be that quarterback and see everything from the floor. We get beat. Obviously, we have AD, JaVale, Dwight blocking shots, but Bron did a hell of a job and has done a hell of a job all playoffs with, just being that backline defense. It's paying off for us.
Going back to Rajon, we hear so much about the idea of playoff Rondo. What, if anything, have you noticed is different about playing with him in this setting in the postseason than in the 2 regular seasons you've been with him?
That's really tough. Maybe just, obviously when you're in the playoffs, you just have a little bit more focus. Not saying that he isn't focused in the regular season, but I think for me, I can't really tell. He's just such a smart basketball player. No matter what, he makes the right pass, makes the right reads, and he's been there before, so he just does a great job for us.
All right, you guys can take any questions there.
Yeah, Kyle, there was that sequence when LeBron was sitting out in the fourth quarter. I think you guys had stops on 5 to 6 possessions. What was the focus there and does that intensify when you guys realize like we got to take advantage of that?
Yeah, we just got big time stops. Houston throughout whole game, trying to attack me. We just got stops. That's the biggest thing. Trying to attack me, but me just holding my ground, being able to just play as hard as possible, and just show off my defense.
All right, that's Kyle Kuzma right there. Love the praise that he's given to Rajon Rondo. Lakers basketball is brought to you by Dignity Health. Safety first, healing always. There's never been a better time to get the care you need. Visit dignityhealth.org/SoCal. Lakers 112, Rockets 102, 2-1 for the Lakers. When we come back, more of your guys' phone calls. Plus, we'll hear from LeBron James, and we'll start talking a little bit about Game 4. Stay right here. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready?
On LA's mega sports station. Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m.
How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. Each weeknight, Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
All-time starting 5. Who you putting in that top 5?
All-time starting 5 for the Lakers. I'm going Magic at the 1, Jerry West at the 2, Kobe at the 3, myself at the 4, and Shaq at the 5. I mean, Shaq is so dominant, man. I mean, I love Kareem too, man. I can't even front on that, man. But Shaq's so dominant. It's we need a big because I'm playing the 4, so we need a big.
AD already put himself in the top 5.
Oh, AD put himself in the top 5. Well, he could take me out. Put AD in the top 5. Take me out, dude.
All-time Lakers 5. You're putting together a Lakers starting lineup. Who's in that top 5?
Ooh.
You go position by position.
Yeah. You got to go Magic at point. Kobe at 2. I'm gonna go James Worthy at 3. We're gonna put him at the 3. He can play 3. At the 4, that's tough. 4, we're just gonna go size. Young Shaq at the 4 and Wilt at the 5.
No one's gonna argue that.
Yeah. That's a tough lineup.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready?
On LA's mega sports station.
Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you love him.
And your reaction on the Lakers line. Try Pizza Hut's Double It Box. 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at pizzahut.com. Once again, here's Allen Sliwa.
There's no need to waste time at the car wash anymore. Mobile Wash brings the car wash to you in minutes with everything necessary to bring your car to a full shine. It's the only app that offers on-demand car washing services wherever you are in SoCal. Download Mobile Wash now and use promo ESPNLA to save. I do want to go back out to the phone calls. How about LeBron James, all-time leader in playoff wins? And you heard head coach Frank Vogel saying that's why he should be MVP. Of course he should be MVP. Of course he's the most valuable player in the NBA. We'll hear from LeBron here shortly. Let's go to a couple calls here real quick. Roy calling in from Seattle. Roy, appreciate the time, bud.
Hey, Alan, how you doing?
Good, man. Thank you. Appreciate you calling in. What's going on?
Absolutely. So I have just 2 quick thoughts. One, Kuzma, I love his attitude, his demeanor coming into the games. You can see it in his face, his aggression, both on offense and defense. Even though plays aren't drawn up for him, he's cutting, he's going after the offensive rebounds, and he's just looking like a fine offensive player. And
Roy, he kind of has this. He kind of has this mentality too of how can I help, right? And that's what you want. You want him to have that mindset. I mean, he's so young and he's so raw, and there's always so much chatter about how, the contributions he's going to have for the Lakers. The reality is he's got a lot to earn. He's got a lot to learn. So with that in mind, just to kind of see him, how can I help? That's the perfect mentality to have.
Absolutely. And then just the second quick thought I had was on Anthony Davis. The last really 8 years, either at Kentucky or with New Orleans, you watch him play a couple times a year as a Laker fan. Whenever he's on TV playing us or big game, you understand that he's a good player. But watching him play every single night the last year, he is such a dominant player, and it's just such a pleasure to watch him both, on the defensive end with his versatility on the perimeter, inside blocking shots, getting rebounds, leading the fast break, and then obviously his offensive game is just a thing of beauty.
Roy, appreciate the call, man. And he's got to keep it going. That's the reality. Literally every night he has to produce for the Lakers. He really does. Brandon in North Hollywood. Brandon, thanks for calling in, bud. Go ahead. You're on the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Hey, Alan. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, man.
I just wanted to touch up on that fourth quarter and just the entire Laker bench as a whole. It was back and forth throughout the game, but it was that run early in the fourth quarter while LeBron was sitting on the bench that the bench just carried away. Rondo and Kuzma both efficient, and Roy touched up on it just now. Kuzma was especially efficient with the minutes that he played off the bench. Wasn't trying to force anything. Mm-hmm. He was cutting off ball. He was following up on missed shots down low in the glass. I was really impressed with his performance tonight, but give credit to the bench. Caruso only had 5 points tonight, but that three-pointer with 7 minutes to go,
that was big.
10 and forced Anthony to call timeout. That was huge. And I thought that was what really carried this team. It was nice to see them pull away while LeBron was resting up in order for him to sub back into the closeout. But I like what I saw so far. They got to keep up that performance.
Got to keep it going.
And we've got a great shot at the series. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for the call. Got to keep it going. Game 4, by the way, Thursday, 4 p.m. tip-off, 2 p.m. pregame show. How great is that? We'll get Lakers basketball. It's going to come up quick here, and Lakers will have a chance. Like I said, you go up 3-1. I don't want to say the series is over, but the series is kind of over. So let's get one more win coming up on Thursday, and hopefully the Lakers are prepared for that. Without further ado, let's go to the man himself, LeBron James. 36 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 block shots. Pick it up, LeBron. What are you doing? LeBron was great tonight. Absolutely amazing. All-time leader in playoff wins. The MVP of the NBA, even though they're not going to actually give him the award, he should have the award. But as Michael Thompson always says, the only MVP that really matters is at the end, not of the regular season, but the finals when you're hoisting up that finals MVP. So we'll see if LBJ can get to that point. Here's LeBron James.
Hey, LeBron, that third quarter, you had all 4 of your blocks and held Houston to 18 points. Just wondered what you saw at halftime, if you looked at anything, or how you adapted to that small lineup with keeping it to 5 and what you took upon yourself on that side of the floor.
Obviously, we knew we didn't play to our capability in that first half. We allowed too many straight line drives. We allowed some threes. We had some breakdowns that we didn't have in game 2. We was able to come to the locker room, watch some film, see ways we can clean it up, and was able to turn the game around in the third quarter from our defense. And that's what we hang our hats on. Since training camp, Coach Vogel and the coaching staff came in and said we want to be one of the best defensive teams, if not the best in the league. And, it starts, that's where it starts at for us. When we get stops, we're able to get out and run and capitalize. And in the third quarter, we was able to do that.
Rondo told us on the Spectrum walk-off that he doesn't necessarily buy into the playoff Rondo thing that we've talked about. I wonder where you stand on it, especially after these last 2 games in which it seems like he's really played a major role in turning things around for you.
Listen, whatever, at the end of the day, whatever makes Doe, continue to play like he's playing, then, I don't buy into it then either. But he's been exceptional these last 2 games. Obviously, that first game he hadn't played in a while, so it was a fill-out game for him, just like the rest of us. But these last 2 games is everything that we've imagined being in the postseason. And for me, being in the playoffs and being on the opposing side of him for so many years, I knew what he's capable of, especially in the postseason against those battles. So to now be on the same side as him and seeing, it coming together for the both of us and for our team, it's perfect.
Hey, LeBron, it's Dave. Mike just mentioned those blocks you had tonight. You have 8 in the series so far. In the past, you said like sometimes a bucket is more than a bucket. Can a block be more than a block? And what kind of impact does that have on your guys' success when you're able to protect the rim like that?
I'm just trying to be in the right position. Houston spreads your team out because they have 5 shooters on the floor at one time and they have so many attackers. So you have to be in the help side position. You can't be late or they make you pay for it. So, for me to be able to, protect the rim or just be there early and be able to get blocks that doesn't go out of bounds. Some of them does go out of bounds, but a couple of them tonight was able to keep in the play and was able to get out on the run. So good momentum plays for us, especially in that third quarter when we were kind of going back and forth. But, just trying to be in the right time, in the right place and see what I can do. And I was able to be there for a few of them.
Brad? I guess I'm going to stick with the blocking thing, LeBron. You had the 4 blocks. In your career, you've had a lot of records, but I was told that's the first time you've had 4 blocks in a quarter in your career. I mean, what does that mean to you that you just keep climbing this mountain, doing these incredible things?
I just try to take care of my body and also, commit, to the film. Put myself in the right position, understanding plays that happen before they happen sometimes and trying to not be late. But like I said, throughout the day, prepare my mind, prepare my body for whatever happens. And my teammates do a good job of, staying in front of the ball at times. And if they're able to get beat a little bit, I'm able to protect them. I don't know. I mean, like you said, I've never had a quarter before where I had 4 blocks in it. So, they always say it's the first time for everything. And tonight was one of them.
Hey, LeBron, speaking of milestones, you got your 162nd career playoff win tonight, now becoming the player with the most playoff wins in NBA history. I know sometimes these moments don't sink in right away, but have you taken a second to think about just sort of what that means?
No, not really. I haven't had an opportunity to kind of let it sink in or even think about it. I'm already kind of preparing for Game 4. But when I hear it, I mean, it's just to know the history of the game. From growing up as a kid, watching the NBA playoffs, seeing so many dominant players, so many dominant franchises, seeing who was victorious out there, during a lot of series, and to know that I sit at the top of most wins for any individual. It's very humbling, and it's something I never dreamed of. I never came into the league or as a kid saying I want to be number 1 in playoff wins. I've always said I wanted to be a part of a winning culture and be a winning player and do whatever it takes to help my teammates win. And this is the result of it, but it doesn't happen without, my teammates over the years, my coaching staff over the years, everyone from the top to bottom, GMs, owners, training staffs, ball boys, everything. Everyone has a hand in that because we're all a part of the process and the success. So either if I was in Cleveland or Miami, and now with the Lakers, I've been a part of 3 great organizations that has allowed me to be a part of something that's historic.
Allie?
We've been hearing you for 2 years talking about how much you love being on the court with Rondo because of his mind, because of the way he game. When you're in a playoff series in this setting where every other day there's not a lot of time to figure out what you did wrong and move forward and make the adjustments, how helpful is it to have him be with you in that, and how have you seen that play out?
When you have people that you can trust and be in the foxhole with you, from not only a basketball aspect, but from a cerebral aspect. The postseason is about making adjustments from game to game and also being able to make adjustments on the fly because things happen in real time that it's easy to be, I always say, like a Monday morning quarterback. It's easy to go and watch the film on Monday after you play Sunday and be able to look at, the defender playing over the top and say, I shouldn't have passed it there. Or the linebacker dropping back in zone and say, I shouldn't have thrown a comeback route, things of that nature. It's easy to kind of do that. And that's needed, though. You definitely need that. But
being able to make adjustments on the fly and being able to see how defenses are playing and seeing how the game is being played and seeing how the flow of the game is being played. There's not many guys that can do that in our league, and in the postseason is gigantic. And having Doe on your side definitely helps.
All right, that's LeBron James right there. Let's go straight to Anthony Davis coming up next. So if you're on hold right now, we'll try to get your calls when we come back. Anthony Davis coming up next. Lakers 2-1 on the series. 112-102, the final score of the Houston Rockets. Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Keyshawn. You ready? LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready?
On LA's mega sports station. Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg, Greeny is back on your radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At 11, you loved him for years on 710. Max is back. Max Kellerman for your lunch hour. And at 1 p.m., my guys Mason and Ireland are back in middays until 4 p.m.
How about a little afternoon flavor with George Sedano and LZ Granderson?
Sedano and LZ until 7. And the LA Sports Talk Now don't stop until 10 p.m. each weeknight. Scott Kaplan holds it down at night.
The all-new 710.
Don't get it twisted, homeboy. The best sports talk in LA on 710 ESPN.
On 710 ESPN.
With Pizza Hut, everyone ends up winning. And with the new Double It Box, you get 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas in one box. So they can choose what they want, and you get the taste that you enjoy. Order the Double It Box for carryout or delivery at pizzahut.com. Prices, charges, and minimums vary. Delivery charge, not a tip.
All-time starting 5. Who you putting in that top 5?
All-time starting 5 for the Lakers. I'm going Magic at the 1, Jerry West at the 2, Kobe at the 3, myself at the 4, and Shaq at the 5. I mean, Shaq is so dominant, man. I mean, I love Kareem too, man. I can't even front on that, man. But Shaq's so dominant. It's we need a big because I'm playing the 4, so we need a big.
AD already put himself in the top 5.
Oh, AD put himself in the top 5. Well, he can take me out. Put AD in the top 5. Take me out, dude.
All-time Lakers 5. You're putting together a Lakers starting lineup. Who's in that top 5?
Ooh.
You go position by position.
Yeah. You got to go Magic at point. Kobe at 2. I'm going to go James Worthy at 3. We're going to put him at the 3. He can play 3. At the 4, that's tough. 4, we're just gonna go size. Young Shaq at the 4 and Wilt at the 5.
No one's gonna argue that.
Yeah. That's a tough lineup.
Hey, it's Keyshawn.
You ready?
LA's mega sports lineup.
Are you ready?
On LA's mega sports station. Start your day with me, Keyshawn, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay Will, Zubin, and Travis Rogers. Here with you each weekday morning. Mike Greenberg.
It's time for Lakers postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Allen Sliwa.
Lakers basketball on 710 ESPN is brought to you by Metro. Metro continues to strengthen cleaning on our buses and trains with added services to help maintain social distancing. For your essential trips, learn more at metro.net/we're here for you. You're excited about this win, and you like to hear from your stars after the game. I thought what LeBron James said and took a lot of time. By the way, Kuzma did the same thing. They went out of their way to compliment Rajon Rondo, and I know we've had a lot of callers do the same thing, but that is something that you want to see. He deserves that praise, and he deserves that love from today and what he did. Let me squeeze in a couple quick calls here, and then we'll go to Anthony Davis. Aaron in Orange County. Aaron, I appreciate you waiting on hold there, bud. You're on the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Hi, great to be on the show with you guys. Love your postgame show. I always listen to it.
Thank you, man.
I love to talk about the game. I like the Lakers small ball tonight. I felt like JaVale McGee should have not started in the game. I think they should have gone small from the start of it. I think it would have helped their defensive rotations around. They looked pretty slow the entire night. And
I won't be surprised, by the way. I won't be surprised, Aaron, if that's what they end up doing. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. JaVale McGee only played 7 minutes. Dwight didn't even play in the game. But I wouldn't be surprised. That second half starting with Markieff, I liked it too. I think that's what you got to do against the Rockets.
Yeah, I mean, it sucked because Howard and JaVale make such a great team, or Howard and Davis, who was ever playing. They make such a great team, but it's like, okay, if you don't have two big guys playing in the game, then it sucks for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to match up right, and the first half really was getting I was getting a little worried because of the paint protection. They realized, okay, well, we don't have a big guy in the lineup, so let's let Harden and let's let Westbrook go right to the paint. And also the fact that anytime LeBron went up to the paint, it was getting kind of annoying that the officials for the officiating of this game again were not giving LeBron calls. Like, they were whacking his hand, they were getting all up at him, and he wasn't getting anything. But yet Harden always, no matter what, he always gets his. He always gets
crafty, Aaron. He's crafty. Yeah. Aaron, I appreciate you calling in. Let me squeeze in another call because I do want to get to Anthony Davis. But thank you for calling in. Small ball lineup is what Aaron's saying. Lakers got to continue to do. Don't feel bad, by the way, for the centers. They'll get their opportunities. This series makes sense to do what Coach is doing, and I said this earlier. I like that Coach isn't being stubborn and saying, no, I'm going to do it my way. You know what? Make the Rockets adjust to us. The Rockets don't even have a center. Tyson Chandler's there. They're obviously not going to use him. You have to adjust a little bit to the Rockets, and it's much easier to adjust to Houston when you have Anthony Davis that can go the 5. Caleb in Fullerton, appreciate you calling in, bud.
Great being with you, Sliwa. Again, I'm with the last caller. I think we got to give a shout out to Dwight. Talk about a change in attitude, not getting in the game, but here he is cheering on the sideline. I think it's that kind of attitude, that team mentality that shows the maturity. I mean, that kind of helped get us to where we are, but to step back and to support the guys like we're doing, to me, this is the championship mindset that we want to see from these guys.
That's a good call. That's a great point, Caleb. Thank you for calling in. Dwight hasn't played. I can't remember if he played in the first game, but I want to say he didn't. So it's 3 straight games he doesn't play for the Lakers. And, it'd be one thing if he was a distraction. Maybe at different points of his career he would be. Are you trying to win an NBA championship? If you are, and this is what's in the best interest of your team, then do it. If Anthony Davis doesn't love playing the 5, but it's in the best interest of the team, then do it. And some of these players right now, there's enough vets here. There's enough people who have been there who've done that. Dwight Howard, kind of resurrected his career with the Lakers this past season. Just do what you're supposed to do. Do what's in the best interest of the team. You will be rewarded. All right, Anthony Davis on the Lakers' big Game 3 win over the Rockets.
After you went to that small lineup that you really hadn't played together all season, right, with Markieff at the 5, how did that change things? And for you also, how does that impact the way that you're going to play on that end?
Yeah, we had to pick it up defensively. They were too comfortable in the first half. We were slow on our rotations. We just wasn't ourselves defensively, and we tried to come out and impose our will on the defensive end in the second half, and we were able to do that. That's a great team who can get hot at any time, and so we want to make sure that we made every shot for them tough. Obviously, they're going to make some, with their shooting abilities, but we just want to make sure that it was tough for them and make sure guys see a hand in their face on every shot.
Anthony, you of course played with Rondo in the postseason when you guys went against Portland and Golden State a couple of years ago. What did you notice then that does make him different in the postseason? If this playoff Rondo thing is real, he sometimes says it's not. But what did you notice some things then that gave you extra confidence, saying, okay, it's going to come, and you guys will see when the playoffs come around?
Yeah, I mean, he's been in and out of the lineup, all year with some injuries to his hand. But like I said, I experienced it firsthand a couple of years ago in New Orleans, and it's real. The playoff Rondo is real. His intensity picks up. He wants to guard the best perimeter guy. You see, he guards James and Russ sometimes. He wants to, facilitate on the floor. He's shooting the ball very well, making the right passes. So his IQ is on another level. We got the 2 best IQ guys in the game, him and LeBron on the floor at the same time. Which is tough for defenses, and he's making the right plays. So playoff Rondo is real, and he showed up tonight.
Hey, Anthony, it's Dave. You've led the league in blocks a couple times in your career. LeBron tonight was all over the place with blocks that can get 4 in the third quarter. It seems like a lot of your blocks are right on the guy you're guarding, but LeBron chased down variety and weak side. Just can you talk about his ability to get those blocks and then also what it does for your team when he does?
Yeah, it gives us a spark. This ability to chase down guys on fast breaks. Something he's been doing his whole career. Kind of named it after him, and then his weak side help. Being a low guy and coming in to protect the rim. Especially when we're in that small lineup because they, keep me away from the basket, and so, he's a guy who's usually down there and able to alter shots or block shots for us. And it gives us an extra, boost, especially in transition. We want to play fast, and anytime anyone gets a block, we try to get out and capitalize on the other end. So them plays are great for us, especially when he does it. You got the best guy on your team out there, giving his body up, trying to take charges and making big plays on the defensive end. So we want to go out there, and usually if he blocks it, he's running down the floor, and he gets upset when we don't give him the ball for dunks and lobs. So we try to find him, and then another spectacular play is coming on the other end.
Allie?
Yeah, like I said, we have two of the best IQ guys in the game, and they see a lot of things on the floor that we make adjustments, and they talk to us, they ask me what I see, and we just try to figure it out during the course of the game. We come in with a game plan, but things happen in the course of the game, and we want to make sure that we make adjustments, and it's not always on the coach. Because he's not on the floor, but two, it might be in the floor of a game that you might need to make an adjustment. And, with them two on the floor, at least one on the floor at all times, it's easier for us to make those adjustments. So it's been good for us. It's been helpful for me. I know it's been helpful for the rest of the guys, but those two guys with that basketball IQ on both ends of the floor has been wonderful for us.
Tanya? Did you come out of the game okay physically?
I can't hear you.
Did you come out of the game okay physically? You took a few shots, I think,
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Got a day to recover. It's a physical game, especially in the playoffs. Intensity, goes up, physicality goes up, and especially with this team, being small, they try to use their physicality a lot more. But we want to be physical back, but at the end of the day, I'm fine. Body's fine. Get a day tomorrow to recover and get ready for whatever, Thursday, Friday, one of those days. So, but I'm fine.
All right, that's LeBron James right there. That's Anthony Davis right there. Let me tell you, AD was a little bit off on the what days are going to be. So Thursday's Game 4, 4 p.m. tip-off. Pre-game show is at 2 p.m. So just remember that. We didn't have a time. There wasn't a time earlier simply because I think they were waiting to see if that Miami-Milwaukee series was going to go a little further. Nonetheless, we know the Lakers play Game 4 coming up this Thursday, and it's going to be a 4 p.m. tip-off. A quick reminder here. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin start at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. We'll, of course, talk Los Angeles Lakers basketball all day tomorrow. Myself and Michael Thompson will do the pregame show coming up at 2 o'clock. We appreciate, as always, everyone that's tuned in to all our social media platforms, everybody on 710 ESPN, on the ESPN app. We greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Thank you for listening to Lakers basketball tonight. Game 3 of the Western Conference semifinals against the Rockets is in the book. Lakers basketball on ESPN LA is sponsored by Sincoro Tequila, official sponsor of the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers basketball. Lakers basketball.
Brought to you by Jiffy Lube. For even more savings, check out jiffylubesocial.com. Brought to you by Mobile Wash. Need a car wash? Download Mobile Wash and have one of our professionals bring the car wash to you in minutes at home or work. Experience Mobile Wash. Car wash delivered.
Brought to you in part by Dignity Health. Safety first, healing always. There's never been a better time to get the care you need. Visit dignityhealth.org/SoCal. Get closer to Lakers basketball right here.
Lakers basketball.
Try Pizza Hut's Double It Box. 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas, so they can choose what they want and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at